Hello, welcome to another Real Raw Moment, and today's is called My Ugly Sweater Made Me Ugly Cry Today. Before we get into it, let's get into what I'm not. I'm not a doctor, lawyer, therapist, or any other accredited body that can be used in your case. I'm simply a two-time alienated parent, been in the court system for over a decade, and very, very familiar with coercive control and narcissistic abuse, and all the other things that go on, including the living grief of parental alienation. As the internet likes to say, this is for informational and or educational purposes only. I agree with the internet. I also like to say I do these videos to make people think, hopefully, gain comments, yes, discussions, whether you agree with me or not, I don't care. I want to hear it. What I don't want to hear are vicious attacks, gender-based attacks, or anything that's really just outright mean. That happens, you'll be deleted and reported. Okay, let's get into the sitch here. My ugly sweater made me ugly cry. All right, so if it's going to make me cry, why am I wearing it in the first place, right? Like, why would I be a masochist and even put one on? Well, here's the backstory. So I recently am working a contract job, and I'm part of a team. And it's been over the past 3 weeks, leading up to Christmas. It's a great place, very team-oriented in a really beautiful way. Love the people that I've been working with. It's fantastic. And because it is I don't know what to call it, respectful, I guess, of every, there's Diwali and there's Hanukkah and there's Christmas. They don't decorate for anything because there's just too much. And where I work, that can be also really overwhelming. I'm not getting into it. But I thought, great. December 1st hit. There was no crazy, Christmas threw up. Even in the building I work at, very minimal. I think there's a couple of red bows and a candy cane somewhere. Again, because there's lots of diversity. And therefore, we'd have to wallpaper the walls with all the things. We'd miss somebody and somebody get offended, so we offend nobody. We just stay neutral. I loved it. I'm like, great. Oh, for my dear living grief heart, for parental alienation, this is fantastic. Because I can not go into this place and feel activated by, Christmas creeping in. Now, I don't ignore Christmas. I do have my daughter with me. That's a whole other story. We do celebrate Christmas, but it's low key. It's low key, and certainly, for everybody, I think there's precious few that the holidays don't have some hurt with it. I guess is what to say. We all, everyone's got a story about something bad at Christmas, and for alienated parents, it's an extremely painful time, right? So I was like, yeah, win. Well, it was a win until yesterday when my boss looks at me and says, "Oh, by the way, it's ugly sweater day tomorrow." That's what happened. I'm like, oh, so bring yours. I was like, oh, well, I don't have one. Thinking, okay. Now I have a beautiful, you've seen it in my other videos, I got a beautiful red jacket, I've got this beautiful red scarf, I've got, do a red lip, maybe curl my hair. Still Christmas vibing. Not gonna not participate, just this is like a bridge too far for me. No, you've got to get away. She's like, go to this thrift store. Now, this was a good tip because this thrift store I'd never heard of, and it was local and it was amazing when I went. Go buy one. And I'm thinking, A, money's tight. I don't want to spend the money. And B, I don't want to do this. And I tried setting boundaries. Now, if you watch my videos or I coach you or if you just talk to me, you know I'm big on boundaries. And sometimes this is a reminder to me, too, that sometimes boundaries, sometimes you gotta work with what you got. And if the boundary that's being breached is not technically harmful, it's not okay, but it wasn't dog with a bone. She wasn't gonna let go in her own way. And it wasn't a mean way. This was like for her and the other people around me, like they're all like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna wear hats and we'll put some music on, and I'm like, okay. So she's like, go out, you're on your lunch. Doesn't matter how long you take. Come back, go find one. And I ran out of there because I needed to get out. Suddenly, the oxygen was out of the room. Suddenly, this place that was a safe space for me was not safe anymore. And I think that's the best way that I can describe it. It's funny, just sidebar. Um, I have a Facebook specialized chat for people that I coach and also members of support group and like they'll want information. If you want to be a part of it, you want to know about it, comment below and I can hook you up. When I messaged them today, I said, because I like to share my vulnerable moments. Well, obviously I do these videos. We know I do. But in the moment, I was really having the feels. And they were just so encouraging. But they're like, I get it. Like, this sucks. And then I shared it with somebody who's close to me, but not alienated. It's like, that's weird. Why would you feel that way? I think in our own special club of alienation, like, it's just very interesting to see the contrast. Anyhow, back to the story. Back to story time. I went to this thrift store, which was a really awesome thrift store, and it was a madhouse. It was crazy. Apparently, it can line up around the block. It's so good. Got in there, found the only ugly sweater. Now, this sweater's a find. Like, take a look. Not only ugly, but look. Yep, it lights up. Looks great in the dark. When I got to the till, I was like, okay, I looked at the price. I was like, okay. I don't want more questions. And this was part of why I breached this boundary with myself. If I was to push back, I'd have to explain a lot the reason. And that, one, most people don't want to hear about. Kind of kills the joy of the holidays. Two, I don't really want to explain the deepest, darkest parts of alienation to people that I'm getting to know. And I also don't want it to be my sole identity when I walk into any room. So I get to the till, I'm paying cash, 50% off. So guess what, folks? Well, guess how much it was? It was $2.50. Okay. All right. So I'm like, okay, well, I can live with that. So I kind of put it in my mind. I put it in my car. I get back. They're like, oh, you got one, Grim? I'm like, yeah. And go on with my day. All right. Go on with my work. Go on with my day. Go on with my team. Nothing, is said otherwise, other than, can't wait to see your sweater tomorrow. Yeah, great. I go home. Put it in my room. I say my room. This is actually part of my bedroom. Layout, like I've got some leggings with sparkle on them. I lay out my clothes because I'm up early in the morning. And I'm like, okay. It's just a sweater. So this is what people do. This is what normal people do. What's the big deal? Okay, Natalie, yeah, you got this. Batteries work great. It's going to be great. Like, you've got this cool shirt and you're going to be part of the team. You're going to actually be normal because you're going to participate in something that's normal. Now, again, a couple things. One, these are my real raw moments. Two, if you're watching this and you're like, Natalie, you're not making sense, I doubt you're an alienated parent. I'm just going to say. I had to say that because I can hear some chirping in the background. This morning I get up. I usually do my makeup after I get dressed. Don't want to wreck the face. And I couldn't get dressed. So I did my makeup, brushed my hair. Decided I was going to do my hair. I'm like, no, forget it. I just pinned it back. I'm like, that's as much as my energy was just drained thinking I had to put this thing on. And then I did. And I bawled my eyes out. Ugly cry over the ugly sweater. Why? Well, comments below. What are your thoughts? I'm going to tell you my thoughts as to my why. I know myself pretty well. I'd love to hear your comments about, would you react the same way? Have you experienced something that you've had to do at the holiday season? Because that's what we're at right now. That made you react this way? For me, it's a couple of things. One, I really had to acknowledge the holidays. Two, for me, it's forced Christmas cheer, and I had to be fake. Now, it doesn't mean that I want to be not joyful at Christmas. I pick and choose how I navigate the holiday season. It's very quietly. I keep a lot to myself, to my home, in a safe space. I don't go to parties. I mean, there's lots of things that I do and do not do that keep me safe, keep my emotions safe, prevent the ugly cry. And of course, it is December. Today's December the 13th, Friday the 13th. And, I'm missing my son. Right? I'm no different than you, guys. And this is like just fucking in my face. Sorry, language. And at the same time, like this ugly cry, I knew that I couldn't go to work without it, because then I actually would stand out more, because my whole team all wearing the sweater. So I got myself together, I redid my makeup, I got to work. And I was pumping some tunes in the car. I was like trying to do some affirmations. I'm trying to get my attitude in check, because I just didn't want to deal. I didn't want to be part of this, like, oh my God, so cute, and yay, and people are bringing in food. Like, I just couldn't. Now, one fortunate thing that I had today was in my job. I was in an office by myself doing something separate. So I could kind of energize myself to engage and then withdraw. It's actually funny. Engage and withdraw, I talk about that. Like, it's a theory with alienated parents, and that's actually not something I agree with. But in this case, it's actually how I handled this. Is I was able to get the spoons, enough spoons to get the battery going, like whatever, to show up and be like, yeah, great, yeah. I left for my lunch, which I never do. I never leave the building. Just I don't have long. And why? But I was like, I need to exit. I need to sit in my car. I need to be away. I need to be able to cry. I need to be able to do all of that. And as the day went on, one of the things, I try not to reveal too much of my life here, simply because I've got, as many of us do, other people watching, but it doesn't matter. I have the privilege of working with young adults, and there's somebody that loved my sweater, and I just had this little moment where where I work, this contract work that I do, it works with youth the same age as my son, and it's this weird opportunity for connection, right? I feel like I can mom them. And I was I don't feel like I'm 50 years old, but I was a 50-year-old mom figure. Some of them are away from home. Some of them are missing, going home for Christmas. And they're like, I love your sweater. Thank you. Can I have a hug? I'm like, yeah, you can. And so the sweater brought joy. Right? But still, like, it's been like a hair shirt. It's been so uncomfortable. I've been like, I want to rip it off. I'm like, but I'm also going to endure, because I need to be in the world. I need to participate and not flout and be angry about every single normal thing that people do the holiday season. And then thought I got through all of that, and I get back to my main office, and someone says, oh my God, we're late for the photo. Now, I don't like my photo taken at best of time. I certainly didn't want to commemorate this. And what the people said to me, they're like, you know what? I'm like, do I have to do this? I actually said that. I'm like, towards the end of my day, I'm like, I never watched the clock at work, but I was watching the clock, like, please let me go home. Please let me get out in one piece. And she's like, yeah, you're part of the team. And the way she said it, because, yeah, I was for the first time in years, because alienation has so wrecked my life and my ability to work and my ability to participate, that suddenly I had a little shift where I did go and do the photo, and I was part of a team. And so even though the ugly sweater made me ugly cry, it did also bring me a little bit of Christmas joy, I guess. All right, hope that makes sense. We have to wrap up here. I would love to hear your stories about participating in the holidays, what it looks like, what it feels like, what you do, what you don't do. How do you manage situations like this? How do you think I did managing the situation? Comments below.